Hey everybody, it's Erin Reed from Erin Remakes, and today we're going to make cards. These are cards using scrap, and this is part of the Scrap Hoarders video hop. This is the third video in the series. Don't forget to check out all the other videos that are part of this hop. There's 11 of us total, and each of us has put up one video each week. A link to the playlist is down below, and don't forget there are prizes. So what can you use as scraps? To me, scraps are anything that is not a full sheet of whatever. It could be foam dots, it could be ribbon, and definitely paper. Today is all about using scraps of paper, solid cardstock paper, with possibly a hint of a little something on the other side, which is awesome. All the supplies I'm using are down in the information section, so let's get started. So to me, an easy way to make a card using up scraps is to use your dies. Dies are awesome for using up, especially scrap sheets of paper, because you can cut out even the tiniest little things out of these dies. And this one happens to come with a stamp set. All right, so I got all my die cut pieces all cut apart, and I've put them on a magnetic sheet so I wouldn't lose them, because some of these guys are so tiny. All right, the next step, and here you can see the finished product, is I am going to stamp the two things and then place the dies on top of them. So again, scrap bit of white paper. I mean, you would be amazed how much you can get out of just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It is awesome. So I'm gonna place my Hope Your Birthday Is down there. Grab this one. This one just says flowers, 25 cents. Pretty good. You would not believe how many times I've forgotten to take my stamps off my stamp block, so I will do that very soon while I'm cleaning up, so I don't forget. To begin with, we are going to use our little mini maker, which is what you see right here. I'm going to place a second layer of paper on top here because I need two little shot glasses. Place that and then put a little tiny piece of washi tape over top of that, because this machine can do that. Now what I have on here is I have just a metal shim. You don't have to use it. I die cut a whole bunch of these, but if I'm gonna die cut 2 layers of paper, I definitely need the metal, just because it gives it something a little bit more strong than the plastic to cut against. So that's the only reason. This is really truly all the other scraps that I need. So one of the other things that I'm gonna need, so I'm gonna need to cut out I'm just gonna rip this. I think I can fit this. Ooh, if I can't fit it this way, guess what? I can fit the, oh, see, look at that. See, it doesn't even require that much. So I'm gonna pop this on the end here, and now this thing is pretty well full. So I just take this, pop this on here, and you don't have to put all the washi tape, it just kind of helps keep everything in line, and then I'll run it through. So top, done. Now all of these little fun bits. Now I have them all washi tape, which is why they're on here. Look, my little jar, or whatever you want to call it. And then I have noticed whenever I did these double, they kind of stuck to each other, so just kind of pull them apart. I almost made the mistake because my little glass was attached to here. I almost threw that away. Don't make that mistake. Make sure you undo all of your dies from underneath your washi tape. That would be awful. And I've done it, believe me, I've done it. With the remaining scraps that I have here, I still need to cut out all the parts to the actual stand, the banner, and the flowers. So I need to cut a few of these, but I'm not gonna bore you. It's the same stuff, it's just a lot of die cutting, but this is all the scraps I'm gonna need to do that. So what I have right here is a Xyron sticker maker. This is the 3-inch sticker maker, and as you can tell, I've already put a few on here, the ones we previously die cut, plus I already added some new ones I just die cut, and I'm gonna keep adding them. So the longer ones, I like to go like that, and I just pull. So you just kind of feed them through. It's awesome. This turns anything into a sticker. And so because we have such small little bits and pieces, it makes putting this card together so simple. Now I have my entire sticker. I just pull, I rub, and then you find the edge of that top plastic piece and just pull that part off. And voila. Now I won't lose any of my little bits as we're finishing assembling our card. Take a look at this card. What I've done is I've created this little scene, right? We have the grass, we have the sky, we have the clouds, and our little cart or our little stand is actually sitting inside one of the hills of the grass. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build my grass. When I built this one, I dipped down because then I could put the bottom of the stand inside of there and it wasn't hiding completely. So we're gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna just kind of dip down and create a first layer here. And then we're gonna have another one we're gonna be dipping up. And I have found, and I didn't do a very good job of that, is that if you cut in one motion versus lots of little tiny motions, it looks more continuous. So this is a way to use up some of those scraps. Notice I'm not using that much. And we're gonna end up using this on both. There we go. So that first dip is right here. And this is much wider. So I'm just gonna cut this part in half. So we have the front, we have the back, I need the middle. The cool thing about this paper, this is all the papers we're using are from Close to My Heart. It has a different color in the middle, which I think is awesome. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna trim off this whole piece and then decide which one of these bumps do I like to place in the middle. And I'm thinking I'm gonna like this way. And I think I'm gonna like it, not this whole bump, but this like section right here. Like that. So just play around with it. And guess what? If you don't like it, redo it. It's as simple, 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 simple. So just line all these up, just about like that. And then I know my little stand is gonna fit somewhere, the bottom of the stand is gonna fit somewhere and tucked right into there. So now I can start kind of building, and then I'm gonna build the rest of it from there. I don't wanna glue anything down yet. I could probably glue this down. So I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna take my first layer. I'm using my Xyron adhesive. So just place my first layer somewhere in there. And then here's my second layer, and I already have that attached, which is fine. Second layer, right about there. And then I got my third layer. Oops, now I just made a mistake, and I made a little boo-boo right here. So I'm just gonna take my finger and rub, and guess what? As long as you do it pretty quickly, that adhesive comes right off. It's awesome. And then I want to make sure I get this nice and centered. So I'm gonna, nope, that's already on there. See, I can't lift that up and move it over, but I can arrange my die. So I have to think about, I need to have my die because I want this centered a little bit over. Now we're gonna build our clouds. So one thing I've noticed about clouds, I'm gonna start about halfway through here, is that you just do little bitty, just come in, just little bitty, and then come down, maybe do a really big one. And then another little, they're just loops, that's all they are. And some of this is gonna get covered up. Maybe do another big guy. Kind of come up on the side. There we go. And now I've given myself a lot of space here because I don't know exactly how far down I wanna have this, but now it looks like there's clouds in the sky. It's pretty cool. There it is. Look at my little clouds. Now I wanna build up the rest of my stand. So I take the other piece that looked just like it, and I'm gonna put that right on top. We're just building the framework. We're not gonna add the flowers and all that other mess until I get all this done. Now I'm gonna add my two pillars. So I have one pillar here, and it's totally cool that it's overlapping because we're gonna put this bar there. The next vertical piece right here, and this is what holds up the canopy that goes on top. And it's okay if they're not perfectly aligned because you're gonna put your canopy on there. Now I take this bar. So this card's a little bit different because you're kind of building, like you die cut everything first. Instead of building all your layers, you're kind of doing it in two different steps. So there's that, okay, so let's check. Put this down there, so look at that. Remember, I wanna scoot this over because I didn't center that very well, but I can center my die because I made my paper way bigger. Super simple, right? So now take that back off. And now I need to put this down. Now this is gonna go over the cloud. So I have to decide kind of where does everything go. So I'm just gonna lightly place that, put my die down, and I can just see a hint of the clouds. Perfect. Okay, so I don't wanna move this because I like where that is. So instead I'm just gonna lift this up. It's amazing what you can do with scrap paper, right? And then tuck that right in there. Make sure that this piece right here is nice and centered. It's not off-centered. Get exactly where you want it. So to make sure none of this mess moves, we want to place this exactly where we want to have the layers. So right there, I think that's good. And I'd like to have it so that the washi tape is actually touching the part of the paper I don't care about because I don't want to rip anything. I don't think this is going to rip, but I have had washi tape rip my paper before. All right, next is our crossover 2 machine. This is so awesome. This time, for your comment about to win your prize, all I need you to do, I'm gonna show you a trick about that in a minute, is to leave a comment about, I need 2 things. Where do you live? Because unfortunately this is a USA only prize, but there are the prizes where it's national. I'd just love to know where you guys are from and where you're watching me from. And second, what do you have the most scraps of? Do you have the most ribbon, paper, eyelets? I'd love to know what most people are hanging on to. All right, so my little trick to you is this is just a little bit too long. So this is just a little bit too long, but guess what? We're only die cutting that section. So let's cut the top of this off. let's get rid of it. We don't need it. So ta-da. Now I can die cut both of these at the same time, and because I have lots of layers here, and this can cut lots of layers, I'm gonna dial this all the way down, and there is a metal shim just to give me a little bit more oomph in my cutting, meaning that it's gonna have something a little bit more firm to stick to or to cut to, and then run it through. All right, so now let's put the rest of the card together. Super simple. We're gonna go ahead and add my adhesive to the back of this and center it on here. And we'll add this to my card base, which is just a white card base, in a minute. And then we start building. So I'm gonna add my little sentiment, which is gonna go right there. And it says, I hope your birthday is. And then we're gonna build our banner. We'll come back and add our ribbon in a minute. Now we're gonna do our little jar. So I'm just gonna speed up and then go ahead and place my 2 glasses and then my flowers. And I'm gonna pop this up with a little bit of extra foam dots, but I'm gonna speed through all that. So now we're gonna build in our ribbon. So what I'm gonna do is I have so much baker's twine. Do you guys have tons of twine like I do? I'm a sucker for it, I love it, but I don't ever use it enough. So I thought with this card, and it had these perfect little banners, I was like, yes, I'm gonna use my twine. So I found this really pretty pink, and all I'm doing is I'm putting a little bead of glue going along the edge of where I want my twine. We're gonna come back and use our glue in a minute. My trick to you is go ahead and place all the twine down first. There we go. Don't worry about trying to do the bows yet. And then trim off right under, just do a little trimmy trim right there, right where you would want to put your bow. Now you're gonna do 2 bows. Now, my hint to you also on bows, I've got lots of hints in this video, let me tell you. Go ahead and do 1 bunny ear, 2nd bunny ear, and then you can make them really big. I'm gonna do a really big one because you can always tie this closer. So don't worry about trying to make it too small. 2 big bunny ears, cross over, and feed through. And then pull tight. I found the bunny ear method to making the 2 ears up on the correct side. So see how the ears are both facing upward versus one up, one down? So there's different ways to tie. It's like a shoelace tie, basically. And then pull these tight until you get the size of the ears that you want. Pull tight on the ears, just like that. And then you've got the size of the bow. And you got lots left over, but if you're anything like me, you got tons and tons of twine. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other one. Same thing, and I'm gonna snip these off and then glue them on. So I've got my 2 tiny little bows. I'm just gonna come in and add a little blob of glue right there, a little blob of glue right there. This is gonna take a quick second for it to dry, but it won't take long. And then place that right there. And that is your cutie little banner. Now I didn't have the perfect sentiment to go with what I had on here, which I love the flowers, I hope your birthday is, but I wanted something really cute when I opened up the card. Bloomin' awesome, right? So I didn't have the perfect sentiment, so what am I gonna do? Print it out. So I just went on to a Word document or Google Docs or something and printed out Bloomin' awesome. I know the height of my card is 5 1/4 or 5 1/2, so I'm gonna go to 5 1/4 and cut. So then I'm gonna take off 2 inches here, and if I take off 2 inches there, and I'm a little wider, but what I'm doing is I'm just narrowing it down and making sure I'm good. And then I keep checking to see, okay, I'm at 4 1/2 and I gotta go to 4. So I just need 1/4 on each side. And I could have figured that out, but 1/4 inch on both sides to get me 4 inches dead on, which is just 1/4 inch smaller than my card. There it is, that's my little insert. The only scrap that I'm not using, 2 things, are my card base, unless I had it left over from a previous card, but I didn't. I actually had to cut a new one, but I'll use the other half on another card. And then I did print off a new sheet of paper. But I thought that stamp and die set was perfect because it's paper piecing. So any form of paper piecing, place this on here, is perfect for making a card that is made out of scraps. And there it is. So here they are, 2 super cute cards. And I could have made this card with that same stamp and die set to make it for a cider stand or a lemonade stand, but I made it a flower stand. Don't forget to check out all the other links and go to the next person in the hop. There's 11 people in this particular hop. Leave a comment to all the videos for your chance to win some amazing prizes, including these digital packs that you see now. And also leave a comment on this video and my other 2 videos that are also linked in the information section for your chance to win that crossover 2 machine, that big blue pull apart machine that is fantastic. It is awesome. Thank you guys. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell button, and I'll see you guys again later. Don't forget to go to the next person. Bye, everybody.